Hello YouTube, it's time to talk about Ultima weapons. It's actually hilariously simple. True story, I went months without knowing how these things worked in JP. I just saw bigger numbers, but it's kind of cool. Not very exciting ultimately, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna talk about in this video what they are, how you build them. I'm not gonna bother doing a C90 video because that's really boring upgrades. EX gets better and you get additional ability buff. Who cares? But this is gonna be advice near the end based on my JP experience, so you all get the best experience. Don't make my mistakes. So while you're here, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, check out Ranting Hour and my recent co-op rant. That video got immediately demonetized because I was swearing too much. So it's not doing too well in the algorithm. So if y'all could check that out, that'd be great. You could also support the channel for $1. You get guaranteed replies to your comments and you get emotes. So without further ado, let's keep it moving. What are Ultima weapons? They are a new weapon for C90 characters. They are universal. They are the strongest usable weapon. So you got your BTs, you got your EXs, even with FR down the line, or LDs, UW Ultima weapons will be the weapon you're going to want to equip. They provide both HP damage up and HP cap up, or M-Brave cap up, but the highest HP damage that you can reach on a character, they boost that. So here's some of the numbers. Thank you Dissidia Compendium for putting this little graphic together. But you can see at base, you get HP damage up by 10% and HP cap up by 10%. And if you get the weapon all the way to 5 out of 5 limit breaks, you get 40% HP damage up and 40% HP cap up. So 30% is like twins and Una level BTs, and having that on a single character is nuts. And to top it all off, all these numbers stack. So if you got a burst effect going, you got Heimer plus in the background, Ultima weapons will stack on top of all this stuff. It's a lot of damage. So what you're wondering now is, how do you get Ultima weapons? Well, first off, the unit needs to be C90 in order to use them. That's very important. And you craft them with cores. So how do you get these cores? First off, there's C90 character missions. You get 10 cores for raising a unit to crystal level 90. So do the co-op, do the event, assuming you get all the crystals, raise them up to 90. You get 10 more, and you get 5 more if you beat a Lufenia with that unit. Note, not plus, just regular Lufenia. It can be any Lufenia fight, and there are 3 slots per fight. So once you use 3 C90 characters on a Lufenia, you cannot use that mission to get any more cores, so you can't just keep running 8's Lost Chapter over and over and over again to get cores. Once you run 3 C90s there, you will be locked out. You can see in the third row, there's a new area, and this is where you can access the Ultima weapon stuff. Once you're in the menu, you can see the 10 and the 5, and I have Enna Crow highlighted, the 10 being get them to 90 and the 5 do a Lufenia with them. And there's actually a nifty little menu up top you can click on, and you can see who is potentially locked where, how many slots you have done. So you can see in this topmost one, I ran Yang and Lion and Luna Freya in the recent thing, and then I have Reno and Ash and Alice in the Reno intersecting well. And you can actually jump there with the blue button. That's pretty handy. So the other ways to get cores are via Premium Mog Pass, the $40 one. You get 20 more per event. The 6 Warrior Quest also gives 100 for completing it. And there's probably some other random stuff I don't remember, campaigns, etc. No way to account for those, but that's the gist of how you're going to be getting your cores. And there's going to be like 4 new 90s on every new BT event, and then like 2 per event, and Lost Chapter or Intersecting Lore, what have you. But every time someone gets 90, that's at least 15 more cores you're getting. So they actually add up quicker than you might realize. And here's an example of the Ultima weapon extra cores being attached to the Premium Pass. You can see it right there. And I don't have Premium Pass in JP, but the little icon is there. So I think if you run the Chaos and visit the Lufenia, it's something else you got to do. But yeah, complete it, you're good. Get 10 more per event. So now, how do you actually get the Ultima weapon? Now that we've established how you get the cores, it costs 50 cores to get your first Ultima weapon per weapon type. So say you want to get a sword, that's going to be 50. You want to get a gun, that's going to be 50. It's 150 cores per limit break. So if you got a sword and you want to get to limit break 1, you can just spend 150 for a total of 200. It is 150 at base for extras. So say you got 1 sword already and you want to get a second sword. To purchase that second sword, it's going to cost you 150 cores. This screen is showing the initial purchase screen. You can see I don't have any daggers, so it'll cost me 50, but I do have a sword and a greatsword, so it would cost me 150 to get an extra copy of either one of those. The other tab is showing off what you already have. Additionally, it's showing, this is where you would actually upgrade. So you can see on my staff and the gun and the throwing, if I were to upgrade those, it would cost 150. And my staff, no, it's not a staff, that's a spear. My spear and my sword are already maxed, so they can't go any farther. There is also an Ultima weapon refund. This happens once a month. It came later in JP. I don't remember exactly when it came. Someone else knows. We do not know when it will come in global. But if it comes on release, great. But if not, it is what it is. You get a full refund. So say you got one 5 out of 5, that's 800 cores total. You can get all those cores back and push them somewhere else. Here's the refund screen. As you can see, like I just said, it'd be 800 to get my maxed weapons back, and it would be 50 for the base weapons that I have. So just full unconditional refund, but only once. It resets once a month. That's my understanding, at least. That might be wrong. So now that's pretty much all that matters. It doesn't take long to explain that. It's super hilariously simple. Best practices from my experience in JP, focus on one 5 out of 5 on a DPS. You'll feel that way more building towards that over time than multiple 0 out of 5s across the line. I mean, it's the difference between like a Fran call and maybe like a slight high armor plus on like your selfie and your Ignises. Congrats, they're 2 HP attacks. You're gonna really feel that extra HP cap up. Alternatively, you'll feel it way more on people like Titus who have like a bajillion HP attacks. That will scale way harder. Additionally, if you have one 5 out of 5, you can use that one refund to respec onto a new main DPS. And you can, or whoever you feel like focusing on the time, you'll have that 5 out of 5 jumping all over the place rather than just scrambling and making things work on 0 to 5. Because trust me, once you get to 5 out of 5, going back to 0 to 5 or no Ultima weapon feels like garbage, especially in Shinryu where they start giving bosses passive HP damage reduction. You're gonna miss out on those 5 out of 5. So trust me, focusing on one 5 out of 5 is the move. Additionally, don't spread them out. Like I just said, you want to avoid having benched 0 out of 5s. Like I showed before where I had my 0 to 5 Palom, that staff isn't doing anything because I'm not running any staves, because I kind of don't want to because running the 0 to 5 feels kind of bad. 3 0 to 5s is actually worth 1 limit break, 150 cores. That could be 10% HP damage up and cap on your DPSs. So your Machinas, your Tituses, your Canes could be doing a lot more damage because they have so many HP attacks versus that 0 to 5 that you might not even be using at the moment. Pretty much just useless because you're not using it. That's the equivalent of like a Fran call and a high armor plus. That can be a significant damage bump and save you a lot of time in your runs if you put on the person who's doing a lot of damage. And here's just me showing that off again. I mean, I use Orin, I don't use Cisne much, I don't use Vincent much, so those 3 could be refunded, and I could feel a lot better about not not having them sit on the bench and occasionally be thrown in. Additionally, I guess this is not the best advice, but choose wisely. Start preparing for who you will use. Get your favorites in mind. You love Ramza. You want to start building the sword for him, and you could just throw that sword on units down the line until you get the 5 out of 5 and just save it for Ramza. So favorites, meta, etc. I know a lot of you are getting hyped for Locke. Start building your daggers now, get it to 5 out of 5, and then when Zac rolls around and you switch to him using the meta, you respec it then, and then get the 5 out of 5 greatsword on Zac, and you don't feel any downtime on the people you're running the most. If you can't decide, don't. Honestly, Ultima weapons are just kinda overkill in Lufenia Plus. They stop scaling the boss HP up unless there's some, I mean, this is all subject to change, obviously, but if something radical changes in global, you'd account for that. But if you're doing enough damage and you don't feel the need for Ultima weapon, just let the cores chill. Invest in your current DPS if you're running the same unit a lot. Just try and get them as far as possible. Or you could choose from the most used weapons in the game. And I listed the numbers here. Again, thanks to Compendium for listing all the people out. This is based on current JP. But you can see a pretty obvious trend here. Unique, Greatsword, and Sword are the most spread out. Staff and Fist are next after that. And then we start getting a little lower with Dagger, Spear Throwing, and Gun, Bow, and Whip are honestly really, really low. So like, if you're probably safest off going with Unique, Greatsword, or Sword just because there's so many of those characters in the game. That's all though. I mean, really, really ain't much to talk about. So let me know in the comments what Ultima weapon you're building first and for who. Personally, I'm going to start building sword so I can use Furion. I also have Queen, who I plan on using on a couple of fights again with her 90, but then that's going to Furion. And then I might respec it down the line when Cloud gets his BT plus and 90, so I can throw it on him and run him a lot. But as long as you focus on one, I think you'll have the easiest time with Ultima weapon. Don't overcomplicate it. All these Reddit spreadsheets and planners, etc., really aren't that deep. Just grind out the missions when they come. Don't let them stack back up because it feels like garbage. And that's it. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have any more questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Good luck in C90. Catch you later. Peace.